Mystic, where shift happens.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective, man. It's the Hood Mystic here with the shift report where shift happens. Today we're going to be talking about the new moon, some other astrological topics that's going to be taking place this week that are pertinent, that matter, right? We're also going to be reacting to a video in reference to the millennial generation and the understanding of being independent and how disastrous and debaucherous that actually is. And so I have an exciting, let me stop lying. I wouldn't really classify this conversation to be exciting more than I would classify it to be informative and allowing people the space to change and make those shifts. So appreciate everybody for tuning in, tapping in, those watching live, post live. But the main purpose of this is to celebrate the new moon, which we try to do as often as possible, right? Sometimes I might miss a moon transit here or there, but for the most part, my attempt is to cover every new and every full moon. And so, just like any other time, it is, well, it's now June 28th. In a couple of hours in the Eastern time zone, it's going to be June 29th, and that's going to be the day of the new moon. And that's what we will be talking about this evening. So, if you are here, if you're settled in, ready to have the conversation, please feel free to like the video, share the video with those who you might feel might benefit from this information, because in reference to how this channel grows and how people know about it is through sharing the videos, but also liking the videos. That is one of the greatest things that you could ever do for this channel. And if you took the 3 seconds out of your day to like the video, I greatly appreciate you for doing so, because even though me saying it, you didn't have to do it. So if you actually are going to do it, I appreciate you. So with all of that being said, man, let's get right into this conversation. Because if y'all know anything about me, I do not like to waste the people's time with mumbo jumbo. I want to get straight to it. I want to get straight to it. So this new moon was interesting, man. I was going through a lot of different things as I normally do. But at this particular point, I was looking for a specific sign. When I'm studying the chart, I don't know what the hell that chart is going to tell me. But at a certain time, I'll be needing the direction, right? I'll be needing something to actually focus so I can understand this matrix. And by looking at a chart, I'm not always going to be absolutely sure that it's going to help me. But, being an astrologer for almost 10 years as a profession, like we like at 8 going on 10 type deal. So it's like, yeah, it probably does help me the more I look at charts. But even to this day, with all that being said, I will look at a chart and I'll be like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. But then I'll just study it, right? And I'll just study it and I'll just try to understand, man. And it just hit me in waves. And it makes a lot of sense. And it correlates and it corresponds. And it gives me like a reason to continue on. It gives me a deeper understanding in the world, in the reality, in the time that I live in as a father, as a husband, as a lover, and things of that nature. It gives me a deeper, deeper understanding. So, we're talking about the new moon in Capricorn, as we can see on the screen. I don't know what the tropical people is talking about this time around. I don't know if it's in Aquarius or Sagittarius. However they doing it is how they doing it, right? But with all of that being said, as we can see with our own two eyes, right? We don't need nothing else but our own two eyes to see that the sun is going to be conjunct the moon in Capricorn. So we don't have to make up anything. We can look up at the sky and bear witness to something, and then have that understanding, right? In studying astrology, it's very easy to talk about tropical astrology, right? It's very easy, it's very gravitating, it's very magnetic, but it's also most of the time, 100% of the time, is running opposite to the actual reality of what's taking place astronomically. So, and I don't want to reconcile the lie with the truth. I just want to talk about the truth, right? So, with that being said, this Capricorn moon and this Capricorn energy, when you think about it, when you think about Pluto, which has been stationed in Capricorn ever since 2020, give or take, and the changes that have taken place like so drastically. When we have this new moon in Capricorn, what you will start to see and notice is that the reflections are going to be in reference to the changes of the matrix. So, what am I specifically talking about? Donald Trump. Like, people are now actually having to deal with the actual realities of what people have been saying for the past 4 years. And a lot of times it's like black people, for some odd reason, we want to fight about stuff that we don't even got no, we not even in the ring. You know what I'm saying? We not even our fight, but we want to act like so they do the DEI thing, and then a lot of black people up in arms, but we were 4% of DEI hires, right? So what I'm trying to say is that what if, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, what if the changes that are taking place are for our universal benefit of the individual? And hypothetically, what if the previous regime was counter our evolution? Like, what if? Yeah, Pluto is in my first house too, because I'm like Kane from Batman. You know, you just visit in the darkness, nigga. I came from this shit, nigga. Pluto's in my first house. So that means why everybody was above ground, I was just under the earth, germinating and shit. And then I sprout out. People like, yo, you an alien? Nah, I just been with the mycelial networks getting all the real knowledge because everybody goes into church and they like, yeah, God is in the sky. All right, I dare your ass to fly to God then. Goofy ass niggas, right? And then you be like, well, what if God is in the ground in your grains and your herbs and your psychedelics and your teas? Nah, God is in the sky. I'm a fly. All right, motherfucking butterfly. You know what I'm saying? Mariah Carey looking ass boy. You know what I'm saying? But understanding the underworld, right? The real knowledge. See, a lot of the understandings in reference to like tarot and astrology is dealing with the earth, which is even more appropriate. We have a new moon that's in Capricorn, which is an earth sign. So we're talking about grounded energies, but what we don't actually like, and even me, I do this a lot when it comes to like earth energy. where I remove it from being intelligent, but that don't even really make sense because all life comes from the ground. So it have to be some form of intelligence. So what do we call the ground? What do we call earth? We don't call it God. We call it the devil, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. We don't honor the earth. We honor the sky, but none of us is like niggas be like 5'4". You know what I'm saying? Mad short. Talking about the sky. So in reference to Pluto energy, in reference to Mercury, reference to the sun, reference to the moon, and all in Capricorn energy is like it's very much grounded. But when you think about the ground and the ground is low, but this is not the low ground. This is the high ground, right? But even though you got to really use your brain with Capricorn, you got to be so fucking intense to even get it, right? It's still you gonna be on the ground, the same ground, but you're gonna be higher because you're gonna be on a mountain, and a mountain requires effort, and a lot of people not gonna even attempt. So this is true transformation. This is the true breeding ground of are you going to be a moth or are you going to be a butterfly? Because all caterpillars, even though they go through a particular process, there is no real rhyme or reason why some of them become moths or some of them become butterflies. I would say in the context of humanity, your ability to transform is based upon this time right now. And you really gotta sit and think about this shit for real, or else you're gonna not get it for real. You gotta be very sensible about the shit that you're a part of and the niggas that you're around, and really start evaluating shit around you. Because once again, don't nobody really know shit. And if you the type of person that have not done no shadow work, you have not done no, you don't know who you are or what you're actually doing. All you know is I got a job, I get paid this amount of money, I live in this house, I live in this car, or I don't got a job, so I'm sad, and I don't got a house, so I'm sad. And all of these social ass conditionings, this is gonna be like, listen, because you got to look at Capricorn energy. And a lot of times people will be like, well, the new moon is in Aquarius, hood, so why are you talking about Capricorn? And I'm like, yeah, well, the fucking map on my fucking app say Capricorn. So don't talk to me about it. Talk to my damn app. Tell tell the astronomers that they got something wrong. Don't tell me because I'm just following the astronomical observation. So we got to talk about Capricorn and we got to understand Capricorn. What does it mean? And when you get into what it means, it's heavy. You talking about your 10th house in your career. All day I think about damn I need money, damn I need money, but then you got to then correlate the fucking actions to needing money. And that's where shit get, you know how sticky it get, like that Drake song. So when you talk about the 10th house, it's not even up for debate about, being a scam artist or, like imposter syndrome or, you know, it's certain levels where you can't plagiarize or scam your way into the building. You either gotta, it's like making it into the NBA. That's Capricorn energy, right? It's the NBA. So a lot of times we go to the YMCA, we play hoops and shit, right? And it's a difference. Each level you go, it's a difference in the abilities and the talents that ones have. So therefore, when you get to Capricorn, if you ain't did no ninth house shit, you like hood. What's ninth house shit? If you ain't did no Sagittarius shit, hood. What's Sagittarius shit? Higher learning, college education type shit, 10,000 hours. If you ain't did that, then you ain't into the 10th house. One's in the chat if that makes sense. Because a lot of times, because you got to really get into the psychology of a nigga that be watching social media every day and YouTube every day that's like, yo, if I can just do this one play, if I can just do this one move, we'll be set looking ass. And then every door you go, it's a barrier. Why? Because every nigga done did that scheme 1,000 times over, and you like the 1,001 motherfucker there. They like, yeah, we not falling for that scheme no more. That scheme is dead. You like, damn, gotta go back to the drawing board. See, once again, it's never a scheme that you can actually do to then make it from the 10th house to the 11th house to the 12th house. And this is in astrology. This niggas will talk about Capricorn the same way niggas will talk about playing the NBA. But once again, nigga could talk about LeBron James all damn day, but that nigga is going to wash your motherfucking ass in 21. It's not even going to be. It's gonna be so bad how LeBron James do you, and you like, yeah, well, that nigga, he's not as good as Jordan, but it's like, really, shut the fuck up, right? That's really what everybody you should say. Like, dog, don't talk about no fucking body in the NBA. They are. If you ever seen a professional athlete in real life, you would just shut the fuck up. Me, I grew up in Canton, Ohio, Canton McKinley Bulldogs. I've seen Reggie Corner. I've seen Mike Doss in real life be on the same football field as these niggas. Like, oh yeah, no, this ain't normal. This ain't normal. And once again, you could play football. You see a nigga that's running a 440 and you running a 458. It's just you can't scheme your way onto the football field. You gotta understand 10th house energy is not for millennials. It's not for Gen Zs. It's not for Gen Alphas. It's not for Gen Betas because most of us we faking it till we make it. We crying when things don't go our way. We're looking at the government like, hey, can y'all help us? And the reality of the government is like, damn, y'all own government the whole time. Y'all was supposed to save yourself the whole time, right? But once again, we're just looking at things from a space where everything is a game. None of this shit is actually really going to happen. And so when you start to lay out different parameters and different rules and how this shit actually gonna play out, people will then will look at you like, oh man, hood, you a little extreme. You're a little extreme. You said, oh, you gotta post every day, hood. That's a little extreme. I don't feel like you gotta post every day because I got a job and I gotta do all of this other shit. And it's like, yeah, this motherfucker's posting 100 times a day, pal. 100 times a day. 100 times a day. 100 times a day. Every day. You know? And we'd be like, well, yeah, that's like that they're overdoing it. But it's like, yeah, when you post your impressions, you get 10 fucking impressions. 10 people done seen it. The most vital information that they actually need in their whole entire life, and you got 10 impressions. Whose responsibility is to get the word out? The algorithm or you? Oh man, hood, you too extreme. All right, fuck it. Because when somebody is honest with y'all, I've been honest with everybody, right? And honesty to people would be like, yo, calm down, man. We don't need to hear that. You taking it too far. But it's like it's people actually putting in the work, and black people, we're far behind those people that are actually putting in the work. But honestly, if we were to understand and overstand our connection to the cosmos, we flip it overnight. But what's the get down? The CIA is in the spiritual community. The CIA is all through this shit. So at a certain point, you not even supposed to even like listen. I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here reading the Circle Seven Quran by Noble Drew Ali, and it just hit me like, oh, this is about chakras. This is about awakening black people. And then I think, oh, what happened to Noble Drew Ali? They took him out. Oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense. When you start actually telling people, yo, to activate yourself, you got to do these specific things. You either gonna look at as a crazy person, or people going like it's never gonna be good for you. When you start telling black people, oh yeah, that is a CIA psyop, the real shit is that, you are the original people that populated the whole planet from right here in America. And their whole goal is to wipe out the whole indigenous bloodline, but they can't wipe out the indigenous bloodline no matter how hard they try. And they try every fucking thing that they could try. They try Sexy Red. They tried Sexy Red and Martin Luther King. That's why the meme was so famous, right? Because they trying shit every day. They trying. You can't ride through Detroit and see them not trying with chicken, fried chicken. They trying with the chicken. They trying with the liquor stores. Every corner is a liquor store. They trying with the music. They're trying to take us out, but we still here. Some of us, some of us though, this is the purpose of the conversation. Some of us have yet to fucking get it. What do I mean by get it? You think it's a game. You think you think, yeah, but I got a job though. So I gotta, maintain this 9 to 5 facade of a life because, I gotta make sure that I'm taken care of. And the reality is like, no, son, it ain't no game. It's real life, and you knew it was real life January 19th. You knew it was real. A lot of people, a lot of Venezuelans was having a good time trying to figure out how to get on. You should have seen them at the canoe place. They was trying to figure it out. Trying to figure it out. They trying to get on the canoes. They wearing the life jackets. They barbecuing, having a grand old time. And you really got to start to think like, yeah, what's really going on? And now everywhere you go, everything you see now is like this huge shift. And y'all, and the thing of it is like, from my perspective, how y'all didn't see this shit coming? How y'all didn't know? Why is motherfucker so comfortable? And when we talk about real life shit, why are you the exception to the rule? When we talk about higher learning, when we talk about career, and we be like, what you do? And nigga be like, well, I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I really haven't found myself all the way yet. I'm just still trying to, figure me out. You're like, yeah, you look halfway decent. Nigga will clap them cheeks on the regular. So you cool with that. You cool with that. And that's like goddamn fourth house. That's like cancer. Like, bro, we light years, like, cool, get you a little shorty, lock up with her, but yeah, who are you? What you do? You don't do nothing? You ain't clear on it? You don't really know? You ain't really sure on who you are and what you do. Okay, you're going in the moth. Well, I thought it was a butterfly. Yeah, nah, you don't even know. You don't even know your career. You in a job that you hate. Wait a second. Let's backtrack. We not gonna go into our 10th house talking about, yeah, I make a lot of money. You see, this is the difference between the 10th house is the NBA. The 10th house is, Drake or somebody like that. Somebody that's like talented, but they make a lot of money doing what they love to do. Let's say it with me now. Doing what we love to do. Because a lot of y'all motherfuckers go to jobs y'all can't motherfucking stand. And I know I'm just talking to myself at this particular point. I done pissed motherfuckers off at that point. Because we talking about the 10th house and niggas feel like they got it covered because they got a job. But this is not the 10th house. This is not Capricorn. Stevie Wonder got a song. It's called Higher Ground. You on the ground, but you moving higher. And really, when you think about it, and it is cool. The thing, this is not to trigger nobody or to alarm anybody, because we talking about a new moon and we talking about setting your intentions. Setting your intentions is very, very powerful, especially when you align it with what can actually happen in your life. Because if you don't know, you will know. And if you already know, go for the gusto. If you and a lot of times we do put in the work. A lot of times we know what we good at, but we just don't give ourselves the permission to show up as such, or what it looks like to show up as such. But at a certain point, it's only, and that when you deal with the 10th house, it's only a you problem. So what we gonna do is blame the government. Blame the government for what? The government and capitalism, right? The government capitalism been holding me back. My whole 20s, I was getting cracked by the dope dealers. Wait, hold on. What you just said? What the government and capitalism got to do with you being not understanding of the reality for which you live in? Not tapping into the market. That is a voodoo tarot card. The market don't apply to you for what? The reality don't apply to you for what? Why don't it apply to you? Why are we talking about all of this stuff and you just sitting back like, hood, I hear you, but me, I don't need a career. And the shit is crazy too, because it's a lot of this, being an astrologer, y'all can take my word for this. I would say 60% of readings come from kept and put up women. You know why? Because they got the money to get the reading because it ain't their money. Cool. We got that. But yet and still they still have questions being kept and put up. Why? Because God don't want you to just sit back and do nothing. You got hopes and dreams and career aspirations. Just because you found the nigga with money does not absolve that. It might even exacerbate it a little bit because now you got the funding to get your dreams out to the world. You just sitting back getting your fucking nails done at Ulta Beauty every fucking day. What the fuck? Like, come on now. At a certain point, you got to get into the psychology. You got to get into the psychology and say, well, who am I? What am I? And what do I want to do? And this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time to really set yourself in that particular light that you always see yourself as. The reality is that you can't fake it. I personally feel that somebody is a LeBron James in an area in their life. Somebody is a great, you know what I'm saying, in that area. And really, when you setting your intentions and you really looking forward, um, think about what your career is going to look like. You know what I'm saying? If you've been putting out books, is you going to do a book tour? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you've been making music, is you going to do a concert this year? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that thing that you've been doing, you love doing, and you like, man, I do it for fun. I love doing it. But what if I invested and made some money doing this shit? That's the type of questions you got to really ask yourself. But ask ASK, but also you can't be asked ASS. Okay, because if you ask, you don't make it into Capricorn energy. So this is why you got to be actually real, right? You got to be grounded in reality in reference to, is this good? That's always going to be the question, or am I just wasting my time? So the question that I want to ask, and links is in the description. We got the article in the description. And I'm gonna ask y'all right now, right here and now. Y'all can feel free to spam the chat with answers. And if you got a nice booty, can you bounce that ass on that like button for me? Type shit. I really like that. Just bounce it. Like the video. And what am I about to show y'all? This is a real serious question. And if you want to take it a step further, the link is in the description. You can click the link in the description, get a free worksheet, all from me, you know what I'm saying, free of charge, right? But I want to, and this is very important too, because when you think about it, when you are acting from a space where you don't have no foundation, what are you actually building with your life? I'm trying to just set it up real quick. All right. When you operate from no foundation, what are you building in your life? Once again, what is your foundation? Do you not realize when I ask that question, most people are going to say, I don't know. And then you say, well, I'm trying to build my life. Or you'll meet a person, you're going to meet people, especially if you date, and you're like, yo, what's your foundation? What you stand for? What you stand for? Most people going to be like, yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. And I'm going to be real with you. This is what makes me remind myself and tell myself what my foundation is, because my foundation is understanding that I'm an Asiatic, understanding that my history have been stolen from me, the true history, and also my foundation is that I am a mound builder. I'm from a mound builder tribe. I understand that to be my foundation. So everything that I talk to you guys from before I was ever on YouTube talking about anything spiritual, I was going through initiation through mound builders. And there is no other human mound builder in the world that initiated me. I was initiated through spirits. So that is my foundation. That is what I hold near and dear to be true. I may have African descent in my blood somewhere, but my true heritage and my true culture is that of the mound builders. The mound builders of Michigan, the mound builders of Ohio. I've been in these lands over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It don't really matter whether I'm in Ohio or Michigan. It is the same landform to me. It is the same reality. Because white people came here and drew lines and named cities and said that this is theirs, I don't prescribe to that reality. I prescribe that these people don't know anything about who I am and what I represent because they wasn't in the libraries with me. They haven't put in these 10,000 hours of studying and analyzing and researching countless hours of trying to figure out who the fuck that I am. And it goes back to Capricorn energy. A lot of times you can just pray to know who the fuck you are and where you come from. That's what works for me. Because it's no human that's not trying to scam you, that's trying to tell you the truth. Once again, if I'm trying to scam you, I can't be telling you the truth. I'm just trying to scam you. And we don't have the cognizance to ask these niggas, do you work for the CIA? Are you an agent or an asset with the United States government? It's people in my chat, and I love everybody in my chat. There's people in my chat that will dead ass say I work for the United States government. Dead ass say I work for the goddamn army. And much love to you. But what the hell you doing here listening to me? These niggas won't even let me take nothing out of Rent Center. You know what I'm saying? I did a credit check. That shit said failed. I said, what did that even mean? How is the credit check failed? All I'm saying is, when you know who you are, it's a scary, scary place. It's a very, very lonely place because it's a lot of people at the lower levels of the mountain whose foundation either they don't have a foundation or their foundation ain't based in reality or they never even thought about it. And this is the thing, this is for the people who never even thought about the fact of even thinking what's their foundation, but steady trying to build. You can't build a home without a foundation. Nigga, you can't build a teepee. You can't build a tent. Nothing without a foundation. Nothing secure without a foundation. And when you think about your 10th house, niggas can say whatever the I taught. If you listen to this live stream, you said this nigga done said shit, fuck nigga, all throughout this stream. Why? Because I don't ask nobody for shit. I work for spirits. I don't work for these men. I don't. It's a lot of initiation work that goes into a nigga like me. That yeah, you can look at it on the surface and say, yeah, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel too and study charts too. That shit seems simple. It is simple, but you gotta have the goddamn photo records of the mounds to say, yeah, I ain't seen these shits on Google Hood. You actually went and touched dirt. Yeah, I had to. It was initiation. Yeah, you had it. It was a part of history that they ain't teach us in school. Yeah, you think the private corporation called McGraw Hill had a fucking obligation to teach little Negroes the truth? Like, let's be serious here. Y'all want to live in the Matrix. Y'all want to read the scholastic books and act like y'all got truth. And then I say, well, what's your foundation? You say, man, this nigga on YouTube, man, this nigga get on my nerves, man. Who the fuck this nigga think he is? Asking me what's my foundation. My foundation is that I'm an African American. Where the fuck is Africa America at? We need to go to the embassy right now. There's some shit that's happening. Clowns. 100% clowns. All stage. And this is why I would never respect it. I can't really operate within the matrix because niggas gonna be like, well, what is you? Black, African, descendant of a slave? What is you? And I'm gonna be like, nah, man, I'm not none of that shit. I'm an Asiatic. I'm a Moor. Because a lot of that shit, a lot of it, it really does mean stuff when you get into the science of it. Because what you're talking about is the science of reincarnation. And when we try to have conversations, what do us the biggest disservice is that we do not understand the fact that we are reincarnated souls in a real life sense. Because if you understood that you was a reincarnated soul, all you would be doing would be continuing the things that you've been doing for the past 1,000,000 years. But when you caught up in this actual vessel, in this actual family, in this actual reality, your ass is in the matrix. My foundation is my family hood. Your ass in the matrix, man. Go you and you seen the last matrix? Who seen the last matrix with Trinity and what did Trinity have to do? She had to lead that nigga. Cause that nigga was a part of the Matrix. She had to leave that nigga and them kids to get with Neo. Yeah, my foundation is my family hood. Okay, oh Matrix ass nigga, it's cool. I'm not mad. I'm not even mad at you. I'm not even mad. Not mad. But I'm just saying, you stuck. You don't know. You don't know what your higher self wants from you. You don't know what your higher self wants from you. You're like trying to figure it out through other people and social media. That's burnt out shit. That's muggle shit. That shit that's not what you need to be really fixated and focused on for real in reality. Cause that shit is just a costume. That shit not real. Listen, that shit real. I know real ass, good ass men, right? Not even good men. They, I'm 40 years old. That means I've seen people live and die. That's what that means. When you, and that's a different when the young person, they don't really, they be really thinking like, well, if you just treat people a certain way, they'll eventually start treating you right and we'll all live in bliss. Nah, you fooling yourself. You fooling yourself. When you sleep and your family sleep, you just sleep. And so you might need you might need love and attention. You might need TLC, but not a creep, right? You just need some real tender love and care, right? And you can't get it because everybody around you sleep. Like nigga like me, I'm gonna be talking, right? And I be like, yeah, hood, you be talking, da 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 da. I know motherfuckers that don't even talk for real. Everybody just be watching TV and shit, eating meat, and just like in a daze. And then some shit happened, and then over like, oh, pray for us. We going through something right now. When you get to my age, you see people eat themselves into a casket. When you get to my age, you see people eat themselves to death and it never reversed. They never go to the gym and lose weight and have the fucking happy go lucky story. No, your life and your health. Oh man, that's why Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, deals with time. Yeah, y'all. You can't be out here fucking around trying to make people happy. You gotta really get into it all. So once again, when you start talking to people about it all, they get overwhelmed. They short circuit. They be like, "Oh yeah, this is a little bit too much for me. You dropping a little bit." You know what I'm saying? I like my videos like reels. I like a minute at a time. You know what I'm saying? I could digest it in like a 15-second interview, man. This whole like, yeah, man. I grew up on Bobby Hemming. I used to listen to a whole 8 hour lecture, like, and then listen to another one afterwards. So shit. My thing is just get over it. You know. My thing is, yeah, it's a lot of shit. It's a lot of shit, and when you don't want to take care of all of the shit that you got to take care of, it ain't gonna be like, yeah, well, we'll get around to it next year. A lot of times it don't be no next year. A lot of times you can't get it back. Time is real. So you be like, well, I want to be present. I want to live my best life. You guys start listening to that Stevie Wonder, Higher Ground. It'd be like, well, my family and friends, they at the bottom. Well, stay there with them then, motherfucker. Stay there. Stay there with them and just, play spades or whatever the hell. Everybody down at the bottom. This is what we talking about conditioning and social engineering to whereas these people can infiltrate, violate, separate, and that's all they got to do. Cause ain't nobody in our situation gonna be like, yeah, listen, y'all, for free of charge. This is the reality. They've been lying to us this whole time. And what's the kicker now? That they've been doing all of this shit for all of this time. If Lord Jesus Christ came down right now with Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene, niggas would talk about it for one day and then be like, talk about the fucking Super Bowl on the next day after that. And you might hear somebody say, remember that one time Jesus and Mary and them came down from heaven? That shit was crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so you got on the Super Bowl, man. My parlay better hit, bro. One thing for certain, man. We ain't gonna have nowhere to stay. So, if I would hope that people would get into this article, um, But what I'm doing in this video is not talking about the article because if you want to read the article, I feel like you could get a whole new experience by reading it. This video, whole new experience. So, with that being said, and before I go any further, because I already know how the situation goes, I'm going to stop sharing it and then reshare it. I'm gonna react to a video. It's 13 minutes long. I'm gonna play it at a faster speed so it'll even be quicker than that. And I want to talk about it in a sense where it is a regular occurrence for people in our generation to be burnt out and not have any real solution for being burnt out. Whereas we've been sold a bag of goods and we don't even, when I say that this rabbit hole goes so deep into how much we've been lied to, I sit and think about it every day, like all day, every day, just thinking about just simple shit like fiat currency. And then fiat currency and wealth. Two concepts that you can't even put together for real. Because these say people say, yeah, we're wealthy, we have all of this money. And then fiat currency, yeah, the money don't have no value. So how are y'all wealthy then if the money don't have no value? Yeah, that's how we get you niggas. I just sit and think about that. And I think about the millions and millions of people, if they ever decided to wake up, what would that mean? Will we all do the things we needed to do, knowing that ain't even no money? Right? When we get a nigga to drive the tractor trailer, if we say, yeah, we just gonna give you a place to stay, a car, you know what I'm saying? You eat as much as you need to eat, you know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it is. They trying to figure out a system to get us to work so we can keep the shit going. And we think that, oh, we get paid to keep this shit going, but the money not real. So if everybody woke up to that, would they still go to work? You gotta really think. Would you go to work for free? Me, I for sure would go to work for free. I do a lot of things for free. Even like I do a lot of shit for free because I love to do what I love to do. But I love to do what I love to do so much that it even pay me too. Deep love. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta really love what you love to do. And that's where a lot of people get confused because then it's like, well, I would not go to this job if these niggas wouldn't pay me. And that's not ancient ways of thinking. We all was living in a world without fiat currency, guys. Let's like, all right, let's think about this, guys. How do we, a nation, a world of billions, exist without fiat currency? Travel, be merchant, do all of the things because we all had a 10th house. Say it with me, y'all. God damn it. I hope y'all got your motherfucking thinking caps on today. I hope you got your thinking caps on. When you don't have a 10th house, when you don't have a thing that you love to do so much, right? Just think of the old lady that's sewing. The lady loved to sew so much. She's sewing all day. She's sewing shit for her kids. She got a surplus of things. She's like, oh, this is amazing. Would you sell this? And she thinking like, damn, I do need a lamb. Shit, I'll give you all of this for some wool. Like, oh yeah, bet that up. Hey, Rollo, whip up her some wool. We about to take, you know what I'm saying? This is how we live. So the fiat currency entered, and now we can't we lose our shit, man. We're working at jobs for money, y'all. We're sleeping. And I know a lot of people is not ready to have the conversation because a lot of people did not do the Sagittarius work. You got to learn. I'm just looking for my charger so my shit don't die on you. Champ, you got to learn. You can't just be in your 10th house like, yeah, man, I took a course online. Now I'm a master. Like, yeah, no, it don't work like that. What you mean? I paid $5,000 for the course. How it don't work like that? Because it don't work like that. You gotta put in a blood. I said blood, sweat, and tears. Yo, blood, sweat, and tears. All right. So now keep this in mind when we react to this video. We talking about people that do not have a foundation, and the foundation that they thought they had have been given to them by society, and none of it is what they want, but it's what they did. So once again, I'm not going to give you a problem without the solution. But we got to lay out how serious the solution is because motherfuckers going to come to me like, good, I'm working every day at a job that I don't help, that a job that I don't like. Can you please help me? And I'm not going to tell you to quit your job. I'm not that type of person. I'm not going to tell nobody to quit their job. Not just because if you quit your job, you're saying, like, nah, don't quit your job. You got a job, you filled out the application, you need to work at that job. But once again, I was always that type of person at that job. Whether it was my break, whether I would take my laptop into the bathroom. I was a maniac. I was sick. I would go sit in the stalls and work on my hood mystic stuff. I would work. I tell people this all the time. I had 3 laptops. I would do my work for the job, but then I have my own personal laptop for my own shit. And a lot of people they gonna say they might have a different job where they can't focus. But even when I got off work, I wasn't thinking about nothing but my passion, what I love to do. I understood that that job was the money that I needed to make to do other things that I pay the bills, whatever. But that's not gonna stop me from my 10th house. No, 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 no. When you love to do something, you love to do it. So a lot of the things that people do, I just don't do. I don't really watch TV. I mean, especially when I was working, I'm not doing shit besides okay, I gotta work at this job for this amount of time. But in my lunch break, shit. I wouldn't even get up from my desk on my lunch break. They's like, you're not gonna go nowhere to eat your lunch. No, I got shit to do. I'm the type of person I'm calculating. If it take me 5 minutes to walk to the lunchroom, then that's 10 minutes. I can't waste that 10 minutes. Okay? Capricorn, time. Time is money. Niggas be really sitting and watching a fucking movie for 2 hours. I ask my wife, I can't do it. I do 15 minutes and like, nah, this is a waste of my life. Can't do it. Why am I gonna waste my life for? It's so beautiful, right? So once again, if you are at a job because it make money, that is the wrong answer. That is not going to get you in the 10th house. Why? Because you're going to burn out. And then you got to sit and figure it out. Okay, now this time it's a new moon in Capricorn. It's time for you to sit and reflect on what the fuck do you want to do with your life. Because you gonna work till you die. Why you want to do that? Why you want to work till you die? You're not gonna retire or what? Retire with what? Retire means you just not gonna work. You gonna work till you die. Come on. Now you gotta start to think. Okay, I don't want to work till I die. I want to live and have a good life and do the things that I love and I want to make money doing it. Okay, we got that. Okay, let's get real about it and let's deal with. Let's deal. So when you look at Pluto sidereally, you can't really pinpoint whether it's in Capricorn or Sagittarius. And I love that for Pluto. I love that for you right now. It's good to learn and become what you need to be at the same time. Meaning, like, if it take you a year to learn, like, see, this is social media. Like, you want to learn quick, fast, easy, microwave, easy, easy peasy, cool. Not gonna matter though. Even with the AI, what happened? They've been putting trillions of dollars into the AI. The people in China, they made a AI for 5.6 million. Why this is so crazy? Because all of this money and energy into open AI is unnecessary. So ultimately, people are going to make the decision to what's going to be much more cost effective over time. So I'm saying all of this to say, let's just say AI, open AI, and this model that we've been under for AI is going to work every day, right? And of course, it makes sense to go to work every day. That's all we got. The stocks is going up, and everything is great. And then here come DeepSeek, a new AI made with less money. So what is this actually talking about? Oh, you can live in Bali. You can live in different parts of the world. Oh, if you live in this place, you can travel to other places, and other places ain't living like America. Oh, you could travel to Africa and live for pennies on the dollar. You can travel to Spain. You don't have to be locked into this matrix. You don't have to be. You can move to Costa Rica. You can do much more. And it's like, well, the legacy, my family done left me. The thing about millennials, ain't nobody leave us shit. We don't even got nothing here. This it's called migration. Okay? It's called migration. It's a natural. I gotta go before we get into this video. I just want to know: is migration normal? Yes, migration is a normal human. Say it with me, guys. Migration is a normal human activity that has been a part of human life since the beginning, guys. Yay! We've did it. But my family, they not. Well, what? Hey, at a certain point, you know what I'm gonna say. Don't make me say it. Don't make me say it. But anyways, let's get into this video.
Do you think millennial women are suffering now since they were taught to focus on being independent and then find love?
Today, we are going to be talking about how millennial generations have been duped into this understanding about finding your career first and then finding love. But then it's been having some real negative impacts on their lives.
They did not tell us that all of that. Being my own person and I'm independent would lead to separation. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're not
Find love.
Today we are going to be talking about how millennial generations have been duped into this understanding about finding your career first and then finding love. But then it's been having some real negative impacts on their lives.
They did not tell us that all of that, being my own person and I'm independent, would lead to separation, loneliness, celibacy, and lesbianism. They didn't tell us that if you give up the man, you're going to take one of these things and it's worse and it will destroy your nation. They made us think that it was some kind of glorified position to brag about the fact that I got my own job, my own credit card, my own car, so I don't need no man. I don't even know how we got that mixed up. Ain't none of that got nothing to do with being with no man. We have some serious relationship problems that nobody has been able to address us on because everybody wants to pretend that this is not going on. Over 60% of our women are single, widowed, separated, or divorced. They don't have a man.
It's interesting to see how millennial generations have been operating online and how they've been sharing their experiences when it comes to dating and how it's actually been impacting them on their livelihoods, on their mental state, and even their love lives and what's been told to do and not to do. And we're going to hear it for ourselves.
Great. One of the questions on here, Mia the Mogul asked, do you think millennial women are suffering now since they
So hopefully y'all can hear me.
they were taught to focus on being independent and then find love? Short answer, yes.
That's such a hard question because I don't like the term independent. That is unfortunate. But what I think about is you should take the time to find out who you are. And some people find that sooner than later. That's why I'm saying like 25, 30. Okay, marriage makes sense around 30, I believe. But before that, go to school, travel, try the foods, drink the wines, make the friends, learn what you like, date. That doesn't mean that you have to be sexually active. Be in relationships so you can actually find new levels of yourself, because ultimately marriage is just a relationship that you're locked into by contract. I actually kind of like the definition of this.
What's the definition?
Free from outside control, not depending on another's authority, not depending on another for livelihood or subsistence.
I want y'all to really pay attention to the definition of independent and understand that when you independent, you mainly independent from God because God is the only authority. And if you don't have a relationship with God, you don't have a relationship with authority. Therefore, you independent and you free to do whatever you want to do. Okay? And being free to do whatever you want to do is the same as saying you're a car, you're free to drive however you want to drive on the road. How long will that car survive on the road? Not long. So let's read and let me know if y'all can hear it. If it ever go out, just put it in the chat and I'll start it over.
Make the friends, learn what you like, date. That doesn't mean that you have to be sexually active. Be in relationships so you can actually find new levels of yourself, because ultimately marriage is just a relationship that you're locked into by contract. I actually kind of like the definition of this.
What's the definition?
Free from outside control, not depending on another's authority, not depending on another life.
Free from outside control. But when you are free from outside control, you have no inner like so outside control is literally somebody coming and telling you exactly what it is that you should do when you should do it. And the reality is none of us ever have dealt with that. So when we have no inner control, we are independent. We are we don't have anything to depend on. And it's so interesting for people that say that they're independent and they're not even looking at the reality, where the whole entire reality is dependent on another thing for itself to exist. Even life, you're dependent on a mother and a father to have sex. Even everything spiritually, everything is a dependency. So to be independent is some really, really bold shit. It's extremely bold. Because you're saying, when you say I'm independent, you're saying I don't need anybody. I don't even need God. And say anything else outside of that. I don't need my soul. I don't need anything. All I need is my wits and my decision making. So you ask a person, what you doing for work? Oh yeah, I'm just like figuring it out. It's like, well, what do your soul want you to do? Oh, I never even asked. I never even tried to. I never even asked God to lead me or give me guidance or wisdom. I just make all this decisions for myself. Okay, sounds don't sound like a crash out to me.
Livelihood or substance.
And
I
I
think
don't.
that's important. So I feel like independence, I think, is being interchanged with fear, with projection, and with ego. And what I mean by that is there's nothing wrong with not depending on another for livelihood or substance. I think it
Not depending on another for livelihood and sustenance means you grow your own fruit, you grow your own vegetables, and even more so, you gotta produce your own seeds, you gotta produce your own fencing, all of that. And Lord forbid if rodents attack your garden or your farm and seize all of your crops. Well, if you're an independent person, you up shit's creek. Why not be a dependent person of people that you around? Because anything can happen. There's no way you should figure yourself to be independent. Because what if shit don't work out the way that you think it's gonna work out? And when what human being in the modern world don't depend on another person for their livelihood?
becomes masculine when you say that and you radiate that energy. I don't need no man. I don't need nobody there for me. I don't need none of that. I think that that is when you go into ego. That is where you go into fear. That is where you go into lack, and that is where you go into your masculine energy because you hit the fight or flight. And I am an independent.
And we gotta talk about the animus. Whenever I see the animus, I point it out. Listen, ladies, do not be afraid of dealing with your masculine energy. What the fuck? You got it. Fellas, don't be afraid to deal with your feminine energy. You got it. It's okay to be masculine in certain circumstances because masculine energy might be needed for that circumstance. When you are not in and when you are having an animus that's underdeveloped, this is real shit. Y'all gotta really, when you have an animus that's underdeveloped, you will deal with niggas and for nothing because you need a nigga, right? Because you don't want to be masculine. You want to be taken care of. You might be fucking with the wrong person. Ain't nothing worse than dealing with the wrong person, ladies and gentlemen. It's nothing worse than that. The wrong person, you got babies by the wrong person. It's hard. It's hard to bear. So once again, take care of yourself to a certain degree, and maybe you know what I'm saying. But all I'm saying is make sure that the relationship is real. You don't know if the relationship is real if you're not in tune with your masculine energy. You don't know. But why? What do I mean by that? Cause like a man wants to feel needed, right? And we play on that shit. He wants to feel needed, and if you this is a mature conversation, right? When you know that a man wants to feel needed, you'll play on that, and that will just be the relationship, right? But then again, right? You can still do other shit in that space of psychologically playing on a person. So all I'm saying is this: what if you didn't need that man? Would you still show up for him? If you would still show up for him if you didn't need him, then that's good. But if the only reason you like, damn, I really want to leave this nigga, but he pay all the bills, that's an animus that's underdeveloped. Because the man inside of you would make 10 times more than this nigga. Think about it.
Independent woman, but you will never hear me say that. You will never hear me talk about how much money I make to any man. That is never a conversation. In fact, I steer away from conversations that talk about my wallet because I don't want my man to think that I make as much money as I make. I don't want it to even be on the radar because for me, I don't act like that. In fact, I'm like little baby princess angel muffin Pookie Bear. So inside of that,
Baby princess.
yes, inside of that, no, I want you to desire to take care of me. Men want to feel needed. I'm going to
And I feel
need
like that's
you.
a lot of the problem.
Millennial
Didn't I just say it? I just said it. Listen, that's psychological mind games. Men want to feel needed, so need me. Dog, I just said it.
Because I don't want my man to think that I make as much money as I make. I don't want it to even be on the radar because for me, I don't act like that. In fact, I'm like little baby princess angel muffin Pookie Bear. So inside of that,
Baby princess.
yes,
monkey
inside
bear.
of that, no, I want you to desire to take care of me. Men want to feel needed. I'm going to
And I feel
Like, yo, it's treacherous out here because the reality is a man could need some help or use some help. But if the psychology is men want to be needed, then you ain't ever even thinking of helping your man. That's what I mean by you would be in a much more beneficial union if you could help and that person would be receptive to your help versus if you're just in a situation where he just taking care of you. You could help, but you just not because men just want to be needed, right? And these are the lack of foundations and the lack of mindsets that people is really just kind of just living with. And what this video is about to show you is that it's a road to nowhere. And I'm not talking about being in a relationship with nobody, but be in a relationship with yourself. Because even when you are in a relationship, like I said, most people that get readings are people that that got money. If money solved it, nobody would buy a reading because you would already have money. The problem with adults is that when they get money and they get secure quotations, they realize that they haven't done anything. When you get a job and you get a house and you get a car, that house ain't yours. You got to pay the bank. That car not yours because you got to pay a car note. So you on the hook. You got to keep working. You stop working, you lose that house. You stop working, you lose that car. It's a dangerous game. And now they get it to whereas you're working now and you're not making enough to pay for nothing. And now they got it to whereas what could work is if we came together, we don't even talk to each other, trust people, like each other, or nothing, because everybody been on the online dating, meeting CIA agents every fucking weekend, talking about it didn't work out. You met with the fucking feds. It was never going to work out. There was a federal agent.
I feel like that's a lot of the problem.
I just shared and unshared just in case.
Millennial generations are really their own problem. As we heard here, they will give other generations, younger generations, the same advice that put them where they are at now, where they will say, live your life, find this and do that. Meanwhile, you all end up single. So how far does it really go when the own advice that you've taken has led you here? Still talking about finding the one. Meanwhile, time is ticking by. It should be easy just to say that they were wrong.
I think we're currently witnessing early onset millennial midlife crisis on
Once again, I said this earlier and I'm going to say it again. If you don't want to be burnt out, if you want to stand a chance in making it in this matrix, you got to look at some of the shit that you like. I'll be talking to people, like conscious people, and some of the shit that they really feel, they dead ass wrong. I'm not gonna say yeah, that's really outdated and not real because niggas actually would have some cognitive dissonance to the truth. So once again, you don't have to be exhausted. You can actually petition spirits. You can actually, and I'm not talking about quitting your day job either. I'm not talking about losing your mind either. I'm not talking about, nah, it's spirits all around us at all times in reference to all things that we need. We got to be calm enough to be able to see it. We can't be so caught up in the matrix to see it. I'll even go better. It's ancestors right now begging you to work with them, begging you to get in contact with them. But you're too busy. You got a job, right? And then when you think about it, you're real sad about it. So this is a frequency game. High frequency is understanding. Low frequency is a lack of understanding.
social media, and I don't say that to be funny. And you know who I blame? I'm just going to blame it on capitalism. I'm going to blame it on capitalism and social media. Gen Z is going to experience this shortly as well. There's a New York Times article that talks exactly about this, except the early onset part, but that might be kind of implied. They say some of the causes are growing up and showing signs of aging, trying to stay culturally relevant, and aging out of the internet. I didn't say that. Those are not my words. Take it up with the author.
Well, I hate this narrative that's pushed on millennials or the generation below us that we're lazy. We are not lazy, but we are in fact tired. We go and get the degrees y'all said we needed to be successful.
Not lazy, but tired because we go into the degrees that y'all told us to go into. At a certain point, nobody told you to go into no degree at all. You made that decision on your own. You cannot listen to the world. You have to listen to your soul. Maybe your soul will tell you, get this job. My soul have told me to get jobs before. Don't get it twisted. Get this job. Work at this place. Do the thing that you need to elevate you or to initiate you into this. Cool. Every time you follow, I'll just tell you this. Every time you follow your spirit, you know. Every time you don't follow your spirit, guess what? You know. How do you know? By being burnt out, by being exhausted, by them projecting and saying, I did everything you told me to do. I did everything you told me to do. That's never going to fly. You have a soul, you have a higher self. Have you listened to that? No? Well, then don't. Who is you going to be complaining to? The government? I did everything. Why you portray me, government?
Get that degree, then you need a higher degree. You get the higher degree, you go to apply for the job with the degree, and then they say you're overqualified. We get the jobs, they raise the price of living. So then you have to get another job to keep up with the cost of living. And then you have no time for.
Ever since I was a child, we've been living in a dual income society way before we became 18 as millennials. It has always been, if you want to succeed, not struggle, you need a two family income. In America, that's how it is then, that's how it is now. So, therefore, if anybody is telling you that you can make it with one income, it's cap. Okay? Just cap.
For yourself. And now your mental health is jacked up because all you do is work. We are literally on a hamster wheel chasing this American dream that our parents had that does not exist for us. Most of our parents in their late 20s and 30s where we are, they had homes, they were married. We are in a rat race. And it's
They were married, they were married, and they were married, they had dual incomes. If you're going to get a career before you get into a relationship, by the time you figure out the career wasn't what you should have been did, you probably not gonna be in your prime, and you gonna have to start from scratch in both places. So once again, we can't be mad at nobody but ourselves if we are a millennial or we are a Gen Z. When we take accountability for ourselves and we say, all right, I don't need nobody to tell me anything. I'm gonna listen to my soul. We gonna be all right. We start trying to figure out whose fault is it for us not being calm on the inside. We never gonna figure it out.
seems like we're never able to catch up. Like the amount of people who live at home with their parent because they have to. We would love to buy homes. We would love to start family. But in this economy, that is not happening. And so I'm just like, I've surrendered. It's in God's hands. But what I won't do is kill myself trying to chase something that may not even exist anymore. We're not lazy. We're tired.
My girls in their 30s, I need to know, is anyone else in this weird stage of life where they're in their lazy girl slash it is what it is era, but at the same time also in a glow up era where they want to do so much, but you just don't feel like doing shit at all? Like I'm in this.
Man, listen to this, man. How do you get like how are you lazy but want to glow up? This is what I mean by Capricorn and how social media really will distort the 10th house. Because we'll see somebody else being successful and we say, oh man, I want that. But we don't even really think like, well, what did it take for them to get there?
Is anyone else in this weird stage of life where they're in their lazy girl slash it is what it is era, but at the same time also in a glow up era where they want to do so much, but you just don't feel like doing shit at all? Like I'm in this weird stage of life where I just want to sit on the couch, binge watch TV, drink wine, eat all the food. As a millennial, I think I'm just tired. At the same time, I feel like I'm in this glow up, boss up era where I have to accomplish so many goals, or life is like gonna leave me behind. I don't know what it is, but it's this weird feeling of just confused as shit. Maybe it's just me. Anyone else feel like that?
I am in this weird phase where I just have no goals and no desire to accomplish anything. I can't.
It's like at a certain point, it makes sense to me, but at the same time, it's like, especially if I have children, I'm not going to just act like I can feel my way through this matrix. Like and the thing about 2020 and the thing about dealing with people that's really interesting to me is that how people will be like, yeah, I don't feel like doing that. And it's like, what you mean you don't feel like doing that? You really don't feel like doing that? Nah, I don't feel like doing that. I ain't gonna do it. And it's like, you ain't gonna do it? Nah, I ain't gonna do it. And it's like, wow. It's been so long that I just felt like we will always just figure it out. That when 2020 happened and I seen people just stop going to work and just stop caring, I said, oh, the advice really, it finally done broke. Now people have to really figure it out and they don't know where to turn. And the emotions have kicked in. They don't even want to do the thing that they need to do. And it's like, I know like what it's like to have your back up against the wall and figure shit out. But if you're back against the wall and you don't even feel like fighting back, that to me is like, damn. Like, yeah, I don't got no goals. I'ma just give up. And it's like, damn.
Came into the new year as if it was just another day. I didn't deep clean my home. I didn't write anything down. I just woke up. And for me, that is literally foreign. I've always been goal oriented. I remember getting a journal as a gift when I was in elementary school. I used to write down exactly what I wanted to do. And I would always use I statements. I'm going to do this, or I am doing this. At first, I was like, maybe I'm depressed. Like, so I'm talking to my therapist about it. She doesn't think I'm depressed. And I realized I spent the majority of my 20s in survival mode. I was struggling mentally, financially. I had a hoopty at the time. I was praying nothing would go wrong. I also had a medical bill that I didn't pay because I just couldn't pay it. My credit score was tanking. Like, it was going down so bad. Now that I've kind of moved past that, I'm not necessarily focused on survival. And I realized a lot of the goals that I had back then were so that I would get out of that point and get to where I am now. And now it's very much giving clueless because I don't know what to do next and I don't really have a desire to figure it out right now. I feel like I should feel guilty, but the other part of me is like, nah. Because for me, the new year really starts in April because that's when my birthday is. So for now, until then, no goals. You know why she feels like that? Because millennials are burnt the hell out. Here's why. We done lived 9 damn lives already and we're only 30 years old. That's not.
I just think millennials need to really practice accountability in a sense where nobody is telling us not to go into nature. Nobody is telling us not to expand and be the best versions of ourselves and educate ourselves and learn. But when it comes to what it actually takes, nobody is really communicating that. Especially when it comes to like relationships or jobs. Like people will get the job and be like, how much do it pay? Like you want to know how much the job pays, right? You don't want to know nothing else but how much the job pays. And then when you turn up to hate the job, you mad at the job. Accountability is being mad at yourself for not even realizing what the job took or what the job was about. Accountability is saying, damn, I only worried about the paycheck. I didn't know how much it was going to cost me, right? So 20s. having fun in your 20s. The accountability for having fun in your 20s is I shouldn't have had fun in my 20s. Not over like you should have had fun in your 20s, that was normal. No. So you being burnt out is not a result of anything generational. It's a result of a lot of personal decisions and a lack of inner foundation, lack of understanding what is right and what is wrong, what is ordered and what is out of order. Right? Does my soul want me to do this or no?
Weird to y'all? I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I should be retiring right now. I'm 30 years old and I feel like I done been through hell and back. I'm 30 years old feeling like I'm goddamn near 50 years old. Our whole lives we've been taught that we have to work, work, work. After we went to school, we have been taught that we have to go to work after, and we've been working for about 15 years if you started like me and started working around 15, 16 years old. We are at the point where we are tired, okay? This dream that they supposedly sold us when we were younger is no longer a dream. There's no longer an American dream anymore. Like, is not anybody not thinking about that? So on one hand, I feel like I'm 50 years old. But on the other hand, I also feel like I'm a teenager. I'm learning so much. We didn't have enough time. We just kind of got thrust into this like lifestyle, this like trying to be older or something like that. This whole boss culture got y'all working like 6 or 7 doggone jobs. Like, come on. Why are we 30 years old working freaking 3 or 4 jobs? Are you serious right now? I feel like this American dream is over and they freaking left us for dead.
We don't talk about enough about the millennial generations that continuously talk about how tired they are. That's how the soft girl era actually became a thing, because the millennial generations have exhausted themselves to gain all of these resources and actually got nothing from it.
Ladies, no matter.
And that's what I'm talking about. We could actually watch the news. We could actually watch the news and be led by what everybody is talking about, as far as the government, as far as Democrat, Republican, you name it. We can have all of these particular doctrines. But my question is, what's your real foundation? What is the root of your existence? Is it man made or is it spiritual? And if it is spiritual, have you dealt with it? Right? And this goes back to what I was saying earlier about using astrology as a tool for enlightenment. Because in reference to, because I move a lot of just off of spirit, I started the Chakra Nova Intensive, and I was kind of conflicted with, is this relatable to what people got going on now? Like, people not into chakras really. And then I started to study this new moon in Capricorn, and it's like everybody not gonna be into chakras, right? Everybody not gonna be into chakras, and I understand that. But at a certain point, where where are you getting your messages from? Because if y'all didn't know by now, and you will know eventually, don't nobody know what you should be doing more than you know what you should be doing. But do you have a way to really deal with yourself? Like, are you grounded in this reality? Are you grounded spiritually in this reality? Or are you listening to what your family say do, what your mama and your daddy tell you to do, what your boyfriend tell you to do, what your friends tell you to do, and you don't never know nothing of what your soul telling you to do? It's so many people that I wish I could just talk to and just tell, like, yo, you following you following something that's not even real. You following something that's not even going to benefit you. But these your homies. These the people you grew up with, and it's your, you know what I'm saying. So it's like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm not gonna overstep my boundaries. But at the same time, anybody that got ears to hear, understand that. Listen, your foundation, it comes from within. And if you don't have a foundation, what are you building? And if you don't have a foundation and you don't know what you're building and you're just grasping for straws, you listening to that person or that person and doing all of this particular stuff, then cool. Go crazy. Do what you do. But when is you going to actually deal with your soul? That's really the question. And not deal with your soul in a passive way to where it's like, yeah, I get it. But no, this nigga is leading you and guiding you and telling you what you do, what you need to do, and you feel good about it. You feel secure in it. So if you got to go to school for a year or two, if you got to go to community college to learn something, you already know that that's what you should do because you already consulted in your soul. That's what this full moon is. That's what I'm sorry, but that's what this new moon is about. Creating a foundation for yourself. And so as I'm, just putting it together, I'm just like, well, who cares anyways? And to a certain degree, that's how it's going to be. Who cares? But for those who actually like, damn, I'm out here just living a life. Never even went within myself. Never even activated my chakras or nothing. Sign up for Chakra Nova. You feel me? Link is in the description. Scan the QR code. Hopefully, y'all click the links in the description, read the article, download the worksheet, print it out if you can. If you can't print it out, work through it in your journal, right? Figure out what your foundation is. Um, Chakra Nova starts February 16th. I hope to see people there. But with all this being said, man, hope y'all got something from this video. You know what I'm saying? I haven't did a video in a long time, so felt good to just, you know, do what I do and just express myself how I want to express myself. And, with all that being said, please like the video, share the content, subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. If not, don't. I understand. And yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. And I'll catch you all on the flip side. And this has been another edition of the Shift Report with your host, the Hood Mystic. I'll see y'all all at a later time. Peace.
The Shift Report with the Hood Mystic, where shift happens.